So Mr. Breyer won the 2018 Tribeca Disruptor Innovation Award for Education. He's a consultant to the top companies around the world, lead trainer for Israel's Army Innovation Unit, the developer of the FAST multi-talent discipline method, and creator of, which is the reason why we're here tonight, Games of Genius, Mr. Ophers Breyer.
And I still do love you. I haven't changed my mind. I'll hold it. Good evening to you. I was born 63 years ago. Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday.
No, it's not today, but you know, it's around. And my energy level is 36 years old. I work 7 days a week, 16 hours per day, no vacations. Why? I have a mission in life that started when I was 3 years old. My father was an amazing teacher. And my mom was working in the education field. And the only thing I wanted to do since I was 3 years old is to become a teacher. The reason was very reasonable, because my father was admired and being loved by his students. And how come other people can love my own father? You become jealous. So you're saying, okay, so if I calculated and said, if I would become a teacher, people will love me. I didn't know that sometimes we don't love our teachers. Sometimes. So I started to practice teaching my puppets. I just put them in a U shape, like in a room. I had puppets, okay? And I used to teach them different things, like, you know. The point is that I'm still doing the same thing until today. You know, I put people in a room in U shapes or round shapes, and, and I communicate. So when they send me to school at 6 years old, you're supposed to go to, you know, school. Yeah. They sent me to school, and I got into the class, and this teacher is teaching, and I'm just raising my hand. I'm telling her, this is not the right way to teach. Look, I had 3 years of experience. She was fresh out of school. The second hour, I was saying to her, look, this is not the right way to teach, because I had a model of a great teacher at home, my father. So I knew what is the good way to teach. And on the third hour, I said again, this is not the way to teach. And she said, shut up, stupid. So since I was declared as a stupid man, a stupid child, and since I was told that I should stop talking, I decided that school is not for me. Goodbye, thank you. In Israel, it's illegal to be homeschooled. So we did it illegally. I went to school from time to time. I had absence of 400 hours per year. I failed on every subject. But what did I do at that time? Well, my father was really nice. And he said to me, look, the only thing you need to know is how to study and not how to learn. And I will teach you how. So what was the difference for my father between learning and studying? Very simple. Learning is accepting knowledge, remember knowledge. Okay? Studying is how to implement. Study how to implement knowledge. So everything that you learn in life, use it. Don't study something that you don't use. So how would you do it? Well, first of all, you have to declare a subject that interests you. That's what my father told me. So the best way to study anything at those times was a library. So I lived in the library from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, every day. I just went to the library. I finished to study, not to learn, 17,000 books until I was 18 years old. It's like 3 books per day, just to understand. But I'll explain how it's possible in a second. So I was studying those books. So you take a subject, any subject, let's say economics. And the first book you just study and you highlight all the things in the book. I mean, you have to copy because the book does not belong to you in the school. So you highlight. And every time you find a sentence that is really smart, you just ask a question about it. And you answer it with your own words. So this is the only thing I was doing. Three steps. Read. If you like, ask a question about it. Because the most important thing in life is to know how to ask the right questions. Not how to find solutions, and not even how to find answers, because answers, you can Googleize it. You don't need answers. What you need is to ask the right question. Now, in school systems, they're being taught to answer the questions that the teacher is giving. And I was studying how to question That's the only thing I did. And to find the answers inside of me. So I was writing different answers, very strange answers sometimes. Now, after you read the first book, let's say about economics, then you get in the library a second book about economics. You have to read a series of books and not jump from one area to another. So you take the book of, let's say, economics, you read it. When you get to the second book, it's easy to know when you turn the page if you already read it on the first book. So now you can jump over of some of the pages. So if the first book is 100 pages and it takes you, let's say, 200 minutes to learn, and let's assume the second book is 100 pages, you probably will not read 10% of it because you already read it in another book. When you go to the third book, okay, you do the same. But you already read on the first book and the second book a lot of the information, so you can skip 30% on the third book. When you get to the last book, the 10th, you have to read only 10% of it because you already read it in other books. So that's how I was able to finish 17,000 books in 18 years. By the way, it's all the books at the library. There were no more books. That's it. So the question was, what does it mean to learn how to study? Because most kids, they learn how to learn. Then they have a test, they answer the questions, they get a good grade, they're happy, the parents are happy, and that's it. You buy them a present. But the present in life is to be able to study. Why? Because forever you will need to study and implement knowledge. If you look at your life today, you need to study all the time and implement. So when you get a new phone that was invented, an iPhone, you learn how to use an app. You study how to use it. You study how to use. That's what you do. So in schools, sometimes they do it, and sometimes they not really do that. Okay? But there's a government, and the government makes decisions, what you should teach them, and so on. So basically, this is what I did. I started to give private lessons to kids in schools when I was 14 years old, and I made a lot of money out of it. Because they didn't know how to study. When I was 18 years old, because I come from Israel, you have to go to the army and serve your country, and fight the war. And then at 21, what you do is you're trying to figure out what you want to do in life. But I knew, because I had a vision since I was 3 years old, I want to be a teacher, that's all. That's my mission in life. I want to save the world from poverty. No education, poverty. That's it. No education means poverty. You go to Africa and you will understand it. And you go to Silicon Valley, you understand the opposite of it, right? High-level education, highly competitive environment. You go to Africa, they don't know how to read and write, and they don't know how to manufacture anything. They don't know what AI means, and they cannot, they cannot prosper, right? So here comes the second part. You're 21, and you know exactly what you want to do. Because since you were 3 years old, you've been doing the same. So how can you become a teacher if you never went to a high school? Because you cannot be accepted to a university in Israel if you didn't go to a high school. So what do? You just start to teach. So I started to teach. Privately. Just giving, personal. And then I decided that I want to teach something that is not general. And I loved music. I was a really bad musician when I was young, but I really wanted to teach music. So I decided that I would start to teach kids music. And the kids really loved me, so it didn't matter if they play or not play. As long as, I was the babysitter. The parents were at work, I came to their house, I was teaching them, they were happy, they were singing, dancing, so it doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because anyway, 99% of the kids who study music never become musicians. So at least they're going to like it and love it and enjoy music, right? 3 years later, I decided that something wrong with the way we teach music. And I need to find a solution. Since I was a reader and implementer, I found this book that was written in 1920 about the mathematics of music. And this one made me crazy. I wanted to know. I'm like Greg. I want to know about the mathematics of music. Why? I have no idea. People told me that music is about emotions and harmony and scales. And I said, no, it has to do with mathematics somehow. I need to find it. This book was written, of course, by a Russian guy. and I found those books. And in New Jersey. My aunt bought it, and she sent it to me by snail mail, and it took 6 weeks until I got it, you know. It's not Amazon, right? It's not the Amazon Times. They got the book, and I wanted to study, but they didn't know mathematics. So I went and took some courses in mathematics in order to understand the concept of formulas, mathematical formulas on the piano. And it was too complex. So I decided to rewrite the system. So I was studying this hard book, which is almost impossible to learn, and I decided to write my own light version, cool version, to teach music through mathematics. 3 years later, I was the most known jazz teacher in Israel. I was 24 years old, or 25 maybe. I was the most known teacher in Israel for music. And for the next 20 years, I trained 3,000 professional musicians. Most of them are world-known musicians today. Most of them. So 7 years later, I was asked to build a jazz department in a high school. First time in high school. I was so happy because I was on that side, you know, with the board. I had the board. I had the, you know, I had the opportunity to teach. And I built basically the best ever jazz department in the world in Israel. Most of the musicians you see in Los Angeles, New York, Paris, came from my department. Okay? And in that department, there was a little girl, not in that department, in another department, the classical music department, there was a girl. She was playing the cello. I knew her a little bit. 20 years later, I met her. And after 20 minutes, I told her, I want to live my life with you. Here she is, Maya. I knew within 20 minutes. And the reason I wanted to live my life with her, she had the two elements that I admire in human: passion and compassion. A person that has passion and compassion will be my best friend. So if you are passionate and not compassionate, I don't care about you. If you are compassionate and you're passionate, I can like you, but it's not interesting enough. I mean, being right? So now I started to teach in this high school, you know, music, and using my mathematical models, which enable us to see that I can raise thousands of musicians using mathematics in an easy way. But something else happened. They got the best degrees in tests, in school, in other subjects, on other subjects. And I didn't understand why. What it has to do teaching the mathematics of music with the grades. Even the government did not believe me. They sent experts to measure how it's possible that those people from the jazz department are excellent on every subject. How they're stealing information from the government. And one day after 5 years teaching, one of the children told me, "Hey, Briar," that's how they talk to me. "Hey, Briar, are we being born like this, or is it something that can be nurtured or can be learned?" And of course I knew what they're talking about, talent. I said, "Well, guys, you've been born with it, but I am the non-natural way of developing myself, working hard to become almost like you. I'm like the plastic, flowers. I look like real, but I'm not natural talent. I was just working hard to know what I know. And therefore I can explain it. Because unique talents hardly can explain how they do what they do. They're geniuses, they just know how to do it, and they hardly can explain it. I can explain every step of it because I was trained to become a multi-talent personality. So now the kids are asking a question. Can you build this in human? Can you take a non-gifted and make him gifted? And that question was very strong. Why? Because usually the gifted are 2% of the population, and your child is going to this test, and he's not being accepted. Have you seen a mom that her child was accepted? She was like this, my child is gifted. And your child is not, for God's sake. You know how you feel? But there's something wrong in that system. Because I raised thousands non-gifted to become gifted in any field. So it's possible. So I started to write this methodology, how to create from the non-gifted, gifted. And over the next 20 years, this is what I did. And I did it for the business environment, for adults, for the Israeli army, special forces. I did it for like businesses, Microsoft, HP. How to develop a multi-talent personality, highly gifted from the non-gifted. This was my life mission. And why? Because I know, it's not I believe, I know that in 2040, the non-gifted will not survive. Forget about it. And I will tell you in a second why when I'll explain everything, with the presentation stuff. This is something we need to understand. So now, this is my life story. And 3 years ago, somebody noticed that I'm doing something right in the world. And I got the Tribeca Award for disruptive innovation in education. And this made a lot of people in the world calling me and say, Mr. Pryor, please, we need it, feed us, feed us. Okay? So now, let's see what happened. 3 years ago, we went to the Czech Republic just, to drink some beer and have some good food. Like most normal humans do. I'm still normal, The food was excellent, I must tell you. It was so good that we decided to stay there because of the food and the beer. It's not a joke. That was the reason. And then one day I meet this person. He tells me, I've heard about what you're doing. You've seen Prague. It's a beautiful city. It's amazing, an amazing city. You must go and see Prague. Amazing. But I want to show you other cities in the Czech Republic. They look exactly like Prague. Beautiful. Poverty of the lowest you can find in the world. You can buy an apartment, a nice one, for $10,000. A haircut is $2. Buying 2 pounds of meat will be $4. They live in poverty. But it looks great, it looks beautiful because they're clean. And all the buildings are old buildings and it's beautiful. But it's total poverty. And this guy is saying, I want you to meet the mayor. I want you to go with me and meet the mayor. And the mayor is saying, can you help us, sir? Help us do what? Help you? 20% of the people left this city. And this city was a city, it was the number one probably in Europe in manufacturing. But it went to China. And they understand nothing about AI and automation. So the city remained a disaster zone with empty warehouses and stuff. What do you do? So I said to him, you know what? I will help you to build a new ecosystem for the city. And he said to me, what does it mean? I'll show you in a second. And I showed him how to do it. I'll show it to you in a second. Really? So, yes. So I told him, and he said to me, have you studied any urban studies ever? I said, kind of. Where did you study, sir? SimCity. He didn't know what SimCity is. And I hope you do. And he said to me, oh, SimCity. Oh, sounds good, right? I played SimCity for 6 years, I'm an expert on management of cities. Now, this guy took me seriously, and I said to him, okay, we need a budget. Right? If you want to rebuild the city, you need a budget. I'll show you the ecosystem design in a second. And he says, but we don't have any money. We can hardly fix the roads. Now what do? He wants to build an ecosystem and he does not have the investment that is needed to build the ecosystem. What do? So Maya and I decided to help the city without the funds, okay, invest our time, donate to them like $250,000, which is a lot of money there, and rebuild the education system first. Why? Because educated people can create more money, more, and they can create the ecosystem over time. And they were like, I invited 100 teachers into a room, okay, in the local university. They invited, not me. And I was promising something to them, like the children will become highly gifted. Any child bring to me to the class, he will become gifted. I will teach you about it. I gave a lecture of 3 hours. In the beginning of the lecture, I said, when the lecture will end, you will not believe that it's possible. And of course, when the lecture ended, they said, it's not possible. I said, therefore, because you don't believe, please come for one day with me, and I'll raise your IQ by 2 points in 1 day. Really? 50 came. The other did not believe me. And they raised their IQ by 2 points. Now comes the point. I'm saying to them, would you like me to train you to train the kids? I said, yes. So how many of you? Half of them. So we got 26 teachers. And they started to train the kids in schools. And suddenly we saw amazing results. What do? Simple thing. Again, 7 minutes in the beginning of the lesson. Then teach, the regular curriculum of the school. What makes the difference? The child can learn 10 times faster with high level ability of using that knowledge in a different field. Let me explain to you. The teacher can teach history class, and the child can use it to play basketball. That's the main idea, knowledge transfer. We transfer knowledge from one field to another through mathematical formulas. And therefore, the children will become experts in mathematics without studying mathematics. Because it's useful information that is based in some mathematical models. So we do it and we get results. And the results were amazing. So the media came. And we were on the media all the time, every week. Television, radio, magazines, newspapers. And one day I get a telephone call. Mr. Breyer. Yes. I am the Minister of Education of the Czech Republic. Nice to meet you, sir. What are you doing there? I do nothing, sir. There are teachers who are doing this. It's illegal because you never went through the Board of Education to get the permission to do it. I said, well, sir, I'm sorry. What I'm doing is really legal. You see, I'm Israeli. We are the best hackers in the world. So I hacked your system. You see, I never change your curriculum, but I get you better results in the schools. What I did is I used the 5 minutes in class that the teacher can talk about other things. How is your mom? How was your day? How's your grandma? How was the game yesterday? Let's talk about the game of last night on television, right? So now I use those 5 minutes to do something different, more meaningful. And now he's laughing on the phone and saying, okay, sir, I'm just joking. We admire your work. Would you come and present it to the Board of Education? 2 weeks later, a telephone call. The Vice Prime Minister. Could we have a short dinner together? Sure. He came with his wife, I came with my wife, and another couple. So we had dinner. Dinner is usually like 2 hours, right? Now it's midnight. He's still sitting there. We started at 7. And then at midnight, he's sending a message on WhatsApp to the Prime Minister, Mr. Babish. That's his name. Babish, you must see this crazy man from Israel. A couple of days later, we went to see the Prime Minister. And he looks at me, and by the way, I brought a couple of the teachers to help me, to explain. And I was sitting with this Prime Minister, and he's saying, I don't believe you. I want to see it with my own eyes. I want to come on Thursday to see the school, so we do not have time to prepare. Thursday, good, go. And now he's looking at the teachers that I had there, like 3 teachers that came with me. And Maya were there, and he says, which one of you going to show me the class? And they were afraid. It's the Prime Minister, hey. So they're saying, I'm not teaching it that day, and my mother is sick, but one of our friends will do it for you. So he's asking, what's her telephone number? And he takes the telephone, and he dials. Good morning, this is Prime Minister Babish. I want to see your class on Thursday. Yes, sure, you are Mr. Babish, yes. Now the girls say, no, it's him. And of course he came to the school to see 2 classes. And of course, you know, there were flags and flowers and everything prepared. Well, Prime Minister. And he comes to the class. And he gets into the class. And he's standing at the door with his, you know, security services and everything. And I said to him, Mr. Prime Minister, why don't you sit with us on the floor, you know, on the carpet together, play with the kids? I was sitting there. I cannot talk to the kids because it's a strange language for me. But I was sitting with them. I know the games. And he looks at me this way, like I'm there. So he's looking, Mr. Prime Minister, would you kindly, you know, come and sit with us? He says, no. I said to him, why? I'm the Prime Minister. I said to him, yes, I know, Babish, sit. And he was sitting. I just said to him, sit. And he enjoyed. I'm not allowed to show you those videos and pictures because of some rules in the Czech Republic, not showing videos of kids, you know, GDPR, whatever. But trust me, it's on my phone. If you come personally, I'll show it to you. So, and then, because it was in the media and because that, you know, there's an organization being called the European Union, which arranged all the countries around, you know, like a whole system. And they invited Maya and me to present what we do in order to prepare the school systems and the technology world into 2040. That's how it started. And then suddenly I got some phone calls. Like from Singapore and Korea and other countries and Belize and a call from Dan. And Dan said to me, we want it in America. No problem. Fine, let's do it in America. Anywhere is good. And there is a reason why we do it. And I want to show you a little presentation about it. And by the way, if you feel like you want to ask a question, you're welcome. Okay? Okay, don't behave like Americans. Behave like an Israeli. They interrupt in the middle. So, okay. So I will show you a part of the model. You see, one of the things I've studied is who are the kids that we will need in 2040. They say like, oh, we need to teach coding, right? Mm-hmm. Really, nobody will code in 2040. You had to do it 20 years ago, because now we need the people who to code. In 20 years, there will not be coders. Code will be written by code. Mm-hmm. So, whom do we need? What kind of a child do we need in 2040? Guys, it will not look like anything that you know now. Nothing. All the professions that you know will die. 90% of them will die. There will be other new professions in the world. The taxi driver will not drive a taxi anymore, not even the Uber guy. Because the cars will be autonomous. Totally autonomous. All of them within 10 years even, not 20. And there's so many jobs being taken from the market. So who is the child? And I knew exactly who the child is. It's somebody who was born hundreds of years ago. And we need him today more than ever. Can you guess who the person that was born a couple of hundreds of years ago is the most needed for this market today? Hmm? Not really. It's just an inventor. Huh. Einstein, no, this kind of academic, too much academics. Yes, implementer of knowledge. But what Leonardo can do is something amazing. He can integrate knowledge between music and arts and technology and science. And this is what's happening today in the world. If you look at the world today, everything is merging. It was biology and technology 10 years ago. Now it's biotech. It was finance, banks, and it was technology, and now it's fintech. You see, all sciences are merging into all the languages of technology because it becomes one. So the future jobs will be in two areas, basically. Two areas combined, technology and science. You need to be highly developed to be there. Highly developed. So let's talk about it. The Polymath Integrative Mind. It's a person that can integrate knowledge from different fields into one new area. Finance and technology, combined fintech, experts in fintech, not in science of finance, not a finance guy and a technology guy. One guy that understands fintech, one guy that understands biotech. These are the new professions of the world. We see them emerging every day now. They are all merge together to become something new. So what is a polymath thinker? You see, if you know how to understand, let's say, take after-school activity, martial arts. You need to practice martial arts to become a great martial artist. But that's not the truth. You need to play piano to be a great martial artist. And you need to practice martial arts in order to become a great pianist. But who will transfer the knowledge from this field to another field? Who will do it for you? Your own mind. And what we call it the Polymath Mind. The Polymath thinking models have been developed by Batista 600 years ago. You never heard of this guy. But he was the teacher of Leonardo da Vinci. He created Leonardo da Vinci. Not much information about him. He was teaching how to transfer knowledge and integrate knowledge from one field to another to combine fin to tech, bio to tech, hundreds of years ago. This was my life mission, to understand how to create polymath thinkers, people that integrate knowledge from any field to any field and create something new out of it. This integrative mind was the passion and the obsession of mine in order to create the geniuses of those special units of, of developers and data scientists in the Israeli army. You know, the Israeli army has one problem. We are surrounded by a large number of rich countries with a lot of guns and ammunition and missiles. In Israel, if you come to meet me at the right time, and it will be a good day, we might have an attack of 60 missiles on Tel Aviv. None of them will touch the ground because of those kids. So it's not the number that will fix the problem. It's how smart you are that will fix the problem. These are the kids that we have. Now, the polymath thinker, integrative mind, are the Leonardos of the future. So how the model was developed? First of all, the best way to study anything is by play, not by homework. Play. Ask a child, what do you want to do, homework or to play on PlayStation? I don't know, Xbox. He will rather play the Xbox. So if Xbox game can prepare his brain for the future, play Xbox.
Like SimCity?
Like SimCity, yeah. So I found that there are 4 main elements to be developed in human. 1, know how to play. It's not just play for the sake of learning. What I do is play. What Elon Musk is doing is play. What Steve Jobs did is play. Yeah. They are playing with data and knowledge. Amazon is playing with business models, killing the whole market. This is play. It's playful and it's a play, and this is the way. You say you play the piano. But what you hear is beautiful music, isn't it? But you play. Second thing, without play, okay, you will not be able to understand how technology works. Because coding and robotics is about play. And in order to understand where we're going to live, we know for sure today that technology is a part of everyday life for every person. We already know it. As users, you all have iPhones. You control the iPhone, or does it control you? Think about it for a second. The world of technology has to do with 3 elements. Robotics. What do you know about robotics? You know that my mom, she's 90. My father is 100. My mother can cook the best gnocchi in the world. So now, I'm going to bring some sensors to put on a hand, okay, and some cameras on a head, and she will prepare the gnocchi. And the technology there will remember exactly how to make the gnocchi exactly like my mom. So when she will be gone, I will still be able to taste her gnocchi because my RoboChef will be able to recreate the same way my mother did it in the past. Have you seen RoboChefs in your life? You should. The RoboChef that was created by MIT a couple of months ago, just got 2 Michelin stars.
Yeah.
Guys, there are robots that create the best burgers in the world, the best pizzas in the world, the best salads in the world. Cook? Who will need a cook? What, that he will bother you when you manage your restaurant? And he won't a raise? Okay, and he needs to go to pee? When you get a robot, 24 hours per day, no strikes, low cost, and cooks the best way with 2 Michelin stars. So technology is about robotics, artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Just to understand. Artificial intelligence is more productive than most human, but not smarter than most human. You see, our brain works on analog waves. We learn 2 trillion times faster than any machine in the world. For a child to watch your hand movement and to copy, it takes 1 second. In the world of AI, you need to write 2 million codes in order to teach it how to move this finger. 2 million lines of codes. However, it's so productive that it takes all the jobs in the world. So technology, deep understanding of AI, deep understanding of robotics, deep understanding of automation is crucial for anyone who wants to survive in 2040. You need to be a part of the digital transformation. 70% of the companies who fail today in the market is because of not understanding the digital transformation. 2,000 stores are being closed in the United States every month. There is a reason for it. And those people will not find new jobs, because they don't have the knowledge to become data analysts and developers. So technology is a part of the Polymath thinker. The Polymath thinker can understand technology easily because it can transfer the knowledge from martial arts to technology. The next part is sciences. We will need to understand sciences on the highest level because science is about understanding how things work and what materials you have in hand so you can connect them into the world of technology. As I told you, biology is on that side, technology on that side. The Polymath Mind can become an expert on biotech or science and technology. Not science fiction, science tech. Now that's not enough. Because we fight the economy is what makes countries survive. So if you cannot make something that connects the dots between science, technology, and create something that economically has cost benefit, like if the iPhone was costing $20,000, nobody would have bought it. You need to make it cost effective so people can buy it for $1,000 or $2,000. We need to understand that this mind needs to understand technology on the highest level, sciences on the highest level, and economics on the highest level. You have to connect all of them. Because if you build a startup with geniuses in science and geniuses in technology, in our economics, the startup will die. It will never become a product. And why? Because economics has to do with people and places and science politics and social sciences. Everything is connected through these elements of economics. Okay? So that's what Facebook understands and Amazon understands so well. Now, what do we need to make those children become the polymath thinkers of the world of sciences, technology, and economics? What is the need? What do we need to do in order to make them so? So first of all, just to understand, we have to prepare their brain to become highly imaginative. Because it all starts with imagination. Saying, okay, This is the problem. Oh, I can see the solution. First, you have to see the solution. Then you have to build it. I will show you an example in a second. The second part, okay, so you can imagine. So what? Can you build it? Can you structure it? So without engineering, without the construction part, it's just imagination. It's just a dream. You know how many people come to me and say, Ofer, I got a great idea. Do you know how to construct it? No. Good. Goodbye. I don't care about good ideas. I can create 10,000 ideas in less than an hour. I have a machine in my brain for ideas. It doesn't matter. As long as I don't know how to construct it, it's not meaningful at all. So let me give you an example of imagination engineering in two different people. One guy came from the user experience world, from design. Design belongs to the world of imagination, right? You imagine something, then you create a design of something, right? That person was called Steve Jobs. He came from design. He was able to make an analogy that you can take a machine and instead of typing on it with the fingers like it was done, until the day he found that you can just flip your finger like in a book. You know how much imagination is needed, or how smart imagination you need in order to think that you can use the screen by flipping the pages? Nobody invented it before him. They all use keys. Type with the keys.
They all resisted the change to that platform once the
Absolutely, yes. Everybody resisted. They didn't believe it would work. And then all the companies in the world are trying to copy the iPhone. Now, this guy, he had imagination because he was able to compose in his brain. That's the main element. Composition in the brain is the main element here. If you can compose it, you can see the music. Elton John used to get just the words of a song, and he heard all the music inside of him. He just wrote it. He just was sitting and writing. He didn't have to search for it. Go see his movie. Beautiful movie. I cried. I really cried. Imagination is about composition. Steve Jobs had it. He saw it. Was he able to construct it? No! He needed the other Steve. Huh? Wozniak, a Russian guy, you know, that can engineer. This is what Russians can do well. I'm not sure he's Russian, but his ancestors are. When you have this mind that can dream of something, see a machine that you flip the hand on it, you need Steve Wozniak to say, okay, this is nice, but you have to know how to structure it. You know, you need engineering here. These two minds changed the world. These two minds changed the world. Apple changed the world. Disruptive innovation of the best. Everyone here is using a smartphone. And most of you are using Apple iPhones. But these are two elements only. They belong to the technology world. Imagination connected to engineering. So what does it mean? So this woman, and she bought, we have a course online that people who cannot have it in their own area, they buy this product. A course online to teach kids. This woman, she bought the product. May I speak to Mr. Breyer? Yes, of course you can speak to me. Well, whom do you think I am? I'm just a little teacher from Israel. And she calls me and she said to me, you know, I just bought something for my children. I love your program, it's amazing. What did you buy for them? I said, I bought for them a Lego box. Really? What they're going to build with it? So for the 7 years old, I bought a plane, and for the 5 years old, I bought a tractor. Really? What is the reason that you bought this for? Because it will develop their mind. No, it's not. It is not going to do anything for their mind. Why not? You see, they learn how to assemble things with order of, that's telling them to do this, and then do this. A robot can do it, dear. Do you want your children to work in an assembly line? Yeah. Then buy Lego. But if you wanted to be engineers and architects, or computer architects on sciences, don't buy Lego. Unless you're going to buy a box with a lot of pieces of Lego that has no picture in it, no instructions. This is great. And she says, why? Because then they're going to use their imagination to engineer something. But how they will have the imagination? I said, inspiration, you know, Google. You type in Google, beautiful houses. Look for pictures, Google. And you will get 1 billion pictures of beautiful houses. Now you scan. House, nice. I want to build this house. Good. Take the Lego parts, build this house. Inspiration. Then another one, and another one, and another one. And suddenly you can say to the child, why don't you mix these two houses together? The first wall will be from this one, the second wall from this one. Add this, subtract this, play with it. And now he's starting to design his own. We call it copy change. Copy and change. This is creativity, that's all. Because if you copy, there's no change, so there's no creativity, right? And that was like 2 weeks ago when I talked to her. This is the imagination engineering mind. On the other side, if you don't teach the child how to question, how he will become a researcher? So let me tell you, research is being taught in sciences. Development is usually being in the technology world. You develop a robot, you develop an app, you write code. You see, these two elements of research and development are the most essential for the 2040 child. Because these are the only jobs that will be in the future. I'll prove it to you in a second. All kids in the world will work in research and development. Well, some of them will be musicians and stuff, you know, but not much. The future is in research and development. For research, you need to know how to research for the right information and don't just surf the internet looking for, I don't know, pictures on Instagram. The use of the internet is to make a research on something. You can find almost everything over there. But if you don't know how to research and you don't know how to ask questions, how will you do it? So now we teach children how to make a research using, Google or some other skills. Wikipedia, WikiHow, everything. And what is development? Build it. Write the code. Connect sciences. So let's think about Apple for a second. Steve Jobs, imagination. Engineering, Steve Wozniak. And then they had an R&D team of researchers from sciences. On an iPhone, you need to understand electronics, chemistry, physics, everything is in there. So if you don't know it, how are you going to build it? Wozniak didn't know how to build it. He needed those people in the research and development department of Apple to really be able to make it a product. And there were some economists there trying to figure out how to make it for less than $3,000, because if not, people will not buy it. So why to invest your time building something that nobody will build? Now, to do this, we teach 4 elements in the beginning with the games. First of all, we teach pattern recognition. When children understand patterns, they see them all around. When you came to the room, how many tables are there here? You saw them, but you didn't notice. How does the wall behind you look like? Have you noticed? Can you tell me? Don't look. How many chandeliers? How every chandelier is being built? How many lamps you have on them? What's on there, on the other side? Did you see the candles, kind of? No, because you don't notice. You see. Pattern recognition is about noticing the elements that compose a structure. When kids play these games, after 1 month, they walk in the street and they see patterns. Am I correct? They see, oh, look, this is. So now we have pattern recognition, but that's not good enough, because sometimes you recognize something. Okay, what do you look in a pattern? Similarities and differences. That's all. What looks like somebody you've already seen, And what is new? Similarities and differences. That's the only thing we do in pattern recognition. So if you have two different iPhones that people use, like mobile phones, you look and say the same, both of them are smartphones. The difference, one is bigger, smaller, pink, red, right? So when we watch something, we look for similarities and differences. That's how we see patterns. The moment you can do it, you can break it into parts. And when you break it into parts, you can add things into it, which is really called pattern design. You can design new patterns out of what you have seen and found. Can I drink some water, please? Thank you. It's cold. So now, the moment children play with patterns and pattern design and pattern recognition, they develop a sense that only people like Steve Jobs had. And the moment you teach them composition and construction, they will know how to build the future technologies of the world. Together with sciences, we have the ideal people for 2040. I cannot promise you what will be in 2060. But 2040 is really something we do understand today. So let's see what's happening here. Let's talk about the world. Manufacturing is robots and automation, right? We don't need human to work in manufacturing anymore. I see a lot of companies around the world, manufacturing companies. 2 people manage one company that usually had 10,000 employees. And now 2 people there, and it's all automated. It creates televisions, radios, soap. Have you seen a soap company that makes soap to wash the dishes? 2 people can make 100 million boxes per month. It's all automated. Everything, even the shipment. You don't need them. You see, robots and automation are taking all those professions that had to do with manufacturing. Nobody will work in manufacturing anymore anytime in the future. No chance. The other thing is AI. AI does data management. What does it mean? It means that me, Mr. Amazon, I know exactly what you like to buy, what you don't like to buy, and therefore I can sell to you anything that you really need. You really need. And I'll get you the best deal. Amazon is paying $300,000 per year for people who are data analysts in Israel. They have offices, a tall building, and they hire every data scientist. When the market is paying them $100,000, Amazon is paying $300,000. So everybody moves to work for Amazon. Amazon can afford it because they have the money. And because they hire them, they will have more money. Right? They have the best people in the world. Now, AI can manage data, services, many things. But what is the meaning of it? Let me show you the meaning of AI and so on. Within the next 20 years, 1 billion people will lose jobs. You want a proof? Remember that I lived in the Czech Republic for almost 3 years? Remember the reason I lived there? It was not that city. Now it's 8 cities, but at that time it was the food and the beer. You know what it means for your weight? I gained 60 pounds in 3 years. It doesn't matter how much you walk in the park and how much you exercise. They have an amazing food that really make you look healthy. In Africa, they are thin. They don't look healthy. You need to look healthy. You need to eat. When we came back to Israel, and it's a hot country versus the Czech Republic, it's called, it's very hard to live in a hot country when you have 60 more pounds on you. It's hot. What can you do? So Maya tells me, Ofer, you need to lose weight. Look how you look. You will have a heart attack soon. But I'm hungry. I got used to eat a lot of good food. So she sends me to this woman who is a specialist on nutrition and diets, a dietitian. And this woman is telling me, okay, Ofer, these are the exercises that you do every day. This is the food you're going to eat on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Vegetable, 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 vegetables. For God's sake. And I look at it. And for 3 days, I'm doing it. And after the fourth day, the fifth day, and then the sixth day, I forgot about it. Now, every time I go to her, I need to pay her $100. She gives me advice that is non-usable. And it doesn't work. So I decided to download an app to lose weight. And why? Because it's simple. I downloaded this app for $10. The only thing you do, you don't go on a diet. That's what's great about this app. You will lose weight without diet. The only thing you have to do with the app is one thing. You take a picture of the food. You eat the food, take a picture. Then learn to know how much each part weighs. Like the potatoes, like how many grams in our, or what ounces. And you write down, I had 20 ounces of this, 2 ounces of that. You just write down. And the app is doing pattern recognition. AI, very simple AI, but very effective AI. And why? Because the app is talking to me every day and shows me, this is what you ate, this is how many grams you're going to have more in your weight. And suddenly, one day the app is telling me, Ofer, we have noticed in the past month, on the days that you had avocado in the morning, you ate less calories per day. But you did it only 5 days this month. Try to do it 10 days in a month because it's good for you. We know exactly the nutritional facts, of the avocado. Use it. And I started to use this app. And then I connected you to another app that has to do with some sports, and they talk to each other. It's unbelievable. And it tells me, Ofer, good for you. You exercised this morning. You had your 10 steps, 10,000 steps. So you lost 150, blah, blah, blah. And therefore, and you ate a lot of avocado. And suddenly, this nutritional expert is talking to me all day long. For $10 per year? Why do I need this woman that I will never do what she tells me to do once a week? Now, this app has 25 million users. An average dietitian can have 25 clients. So if you divide it well, 1 million dietitians lost jobs because of one app. And that's not the only one app about it. Now start to see the numbers. Because 1 million dietitians, most of them women, don't have money to buy clothes. That's why the clothing stores are being closed. There's no buying power.
Once everybody loses the weight, you need designers to teach them how to dress properly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But one day somebody will create an app that will design everything for you. More perfect than any human. But you're right. Yes. Every solution creates a problem, and every problem creates a solution. You see, 1 billion people are going to lose jobs. Number-wise, out of the numbers, 25% of you will lose jobs. Look at the number of people in the United States, 1 billion, you'll understand. At least 25% of you will lose jobs in the next 20 years. But at least now you have one, so you don't care, right? But when you will care, it will be too late. And 1 billion kids are not ready for this world of research and development and innovation. You see, by 2050, there will be 10 billion people on Earth. There's not enough energy in the world, not enough food in the world, not enough water in the world to feed them. There are not enough natural resources in the world. We need innovators to create the resources. What does it mean? You'll have a good steak, right? I mean, at least I do. Prime rib, whatever. You cannot raise enough cows in the world for the whole world to have enough steaks. So in Israel, a small company developed steaks from DNA. Now you don't have to raise the cows. There's a factory that creates steaks and burgers, which is real meat from DNA of cows. There's one company in the United States, by the way, doing this. Within the next 10 years, the people who raise cows will lose their jobs because it will be done in a scientific way. Do you know that? And the cook will be the robo-chef. Do you know that? That this is what's going to happen to the world. And scientists will have to figure out how to recreate, okay, a good steak that is more healthy than tomatoes and vegetables. They will be able to do it. And yeah, we're going to have steaks every morning. They will do it. Do you know those people that create glasses for you to read? Because of the iPhone, we're losing our eyesight because it's too small and too much light on the eye. So there's a huge business in the world, right, of glasses. Reading glasses, you know, right?
I can't wait till those are gone.
They're going to close in a couple of months. All of them. Because in Israel, a small team of 12 kids, okay, developed eye drops that will bring back your 20/20 vision in less than 6 days. And they got already the permission of the FDA. 6 days. 20/20.
And LASIK then is no need, right?
Yeah.
Marketplace gone.
Yes?
Yep.
Yeah. So, how are we going to make those people ready in the world when AI manage the manufacturing and the design and the coding and everything else? We need smarter kids. And we are already at the 90 minutes because it takes 20 years to prepare them. You cannot prepare the kids in one day. More water, please. This is the world of innovation. When you don't have a resource, let's say food, what do you do? No food, what do you do? Imagine, there's soil. You put in the soil, how do you call it? A seed. 40 gallons of water over 12 weeks. And it grows 10 tomatoes. But you don't have the 40 gallons of water. No tomatoes. Here comes science and technology that will enable this little seed with 1 drop of water to create 120 tomatoes in less than a week on the same tree. This is science and technology. And suddenly, you can send 1 bottle of water to Africa, okay, to 2,000 people. It will be enough for them to have enough tomatoes to live a whole year. 1 bottle of water and some couple of seeds. This is the way to save Africa. That's not enough because you have to raise their abilities. Because they will need to do it for themselves too. And nobody knows what to do with it. They teach them how to read and write. For God's sake, you teach children in Africa to read and write? AI can read 5,000 pages in less than a minute and have comprehension level that most humans don't have. 5,000 pages per minute. AI can read and understand more than most humans. So you teach reading and writing? Is this a joke? Yes, of course, we need to learn how to read and write. Without it, you cannot learn all the other things. But it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Good enough is to take our son at 14 years old, bring him in his non-gifted child. He never he never passed the test of gifted when he was 13. Now he's 14 and he's studying in Tel Aviv University economics. At 14. He will finish his first degree or maybe his second degree by the age of 19. He will have an advantage that most people don't have. Why? Because it's possible. Being able to live in the world of research and development is crucial for our living. If you know it, you have a strategy. Because today, most of us don't have a strategy how to grow children. We just follow, schools, teaching, governments, curriculum, going to a good school, a great college, be accepted to Stanford, and it will enable you to have great life. Really? The world needs people who are much smarter than just going to college. And most of the people that we know that change the world drop out from college. Not good enough. So let's summarize a couple of things. When I did my research on how to grow people, I went to one thing: understanding phenomena. What's happening? What's going on? What is Amazon? Why people prefer to buy in boxes and not in stores? What is the psychology behind it? And there is. I will not share with you now. I'm telling you, there is a psychology behind it. People prefer boxes than measuring a shirt in a store. So Babylon is the place when everything started. The people of Babylon, they were trying to understand phenomena of how the world is constructing and works. Over the years, hundreds of years later, there were some people in Egypt who invented something we call algebra, the basics of mathematics. You look at Egypt today and you don't understand how they developed mathematics. No, it's not the same people, I know. But it was there. One of the poorest countries in the world invented mathematics. Without understanding phenomena, nobody would have constructed this abstract being called mathematics, because mathematics can explain in formulas how the world is working. And without mathematics, you cannot learn technology or sciences, nor music. And I will show it to you in the end here on the piano. But then, a couple of hundreds of years later, because of mathematics, people invented something being called logic. Yes, no, good, bad, and other things. These were the people who were become Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Highly developed human. Which led to the development of Leonardo da Vinci, and therefore later somebody like, more academic-wise, Einstein, and to the highest level of development of the human mind, Mr. Tesla himself. That everything you can see today in technology basically is based on his inventions. And now today, the evolution is leading us to see entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos leading the world. It will be very hard to take off those companies. It's too big already. It's too late to stop them. Amazon is too big, has all the data that is needed for them to control the whole market. It's too late. You had to stop them years ago. Now, Tesla created the opportunity, and therefore Elon Musk called this company Tesla, because he's based on that person. Leonardo, as well as Elon Musk, these are polymath thinkers. They aggregate things to create innovation. NASA, you know NASA, flying to the moon, a step on the moon. They said that you can take a missile going up, but you cannot make the missile coming back. This guy in 10 years built it. Missiles going up, missiles coming back. How come NASA in 50 years of living could not create this kind of thing? And this guy, without understanding so much about missiles, have been able to create it. How come all those automobile companies never created an electric car with 4 little engines like a Tesla car? How come? Because these are the innovators of the future. There are so many new innovations that you don't know. There are cars today much better than Tesla. You don't know them even. Much better, beyond. Being created by people who have no understanding in car manufacturing. Small startups around the world that creates cars much better than Tesla. And he's happy with it because he's a pioneer. Yes, he gives his patents for free, yes. So this is the stages model that we implement in schools around the world, online, offline, centers, whatever we want to do. We have a huge strategy about bringing this to the world. First, you need to have imaginative mathematics mind. Imaginative mathematics, how you can imagine the transferable knowledge from one field to another, which means I've studied today a lesson in martial arts and I can use it to play music. I can study something in music and cook well. I can cook well and know how to dance beautifully or create a choreography for ballet. The moment you can do this, you understand what it means, imaginative mathematics. Mathematics is something that is hard to teach until 11 years old. That's why the whole world is trying to find solutions all the time for mathematics. It's not possible to teach mathematics until 11 years old. Because mathematics is abstract. And the brain of kids until 11, they need to work with their imagination and not with abstract. You can continuously trying to find solutions for it. But it has to do with the imaginative, playful world is where that you will understand mathematics. Understand mathematics. Have a mathematical mind. When you take this imaginative mathematical brain, you can simulate everything in the world. You can teach simulations through game simulations, SimCity, Sims, how to manage a startup, how to manage a truck company, how to manage an emergency room. There's so many games there. But all those games without the mathematical mind are non-useful. You need this mind to see patterns. Say, oh, I've seen these patterns. Now I know how to use them in my life. So when I play a simulation game, it's useful in life. Because life is not in the game. It's outside. So the first 2 years, we just build the imaginative mind. On the second 2 years, we teach them how to simulate the world and learn about robotics, to build and to code in technology using sciences. Then when they are ready, at around 12 years old, we accelerate their learning in sciences, all sciences, biology, chemistry, whatever. You have to accelerate, but they can, because they can learn 10 times faster than any other child. So you can finish all sciences in 2 years easily with those kind of kids. At the moment you teach them accelerated sciences, you can help them to work with the best simulator of the world, being called Mathematica by Wolfram. This is the simulator that most scientists work in order to simulate new products around the world. It's a simulator, scientific simulator, Mathematica. And the moment you take this project-based learning kind of mathematics and sciences, you can send a child at 14 years old to finish his first degree within 2 years in computer sciences. Please remember, this child is a prodigy already. He is a very gifted person, and he was not gifted when he started. And by the end of the age of 18, he will have another degree in economics, because economics runs the world. Economics runs the world. You need to understand. Deep understanding in the economy is crucial for inventors, for invention. This is our project, to create the Polymath thinkers of the future, the Leonardos that will lead the world to become a better place, because as it looks now, it's going to become a disaster zone. So let me tell you what's happening. At the age of 6, the child is born between 0 to 6. He has natural motivation. He does not go to see Anthony Robbins to be motivated. He's learning how to walk by himself. He does not need you. He copy how you walk, calculate, trying to move himself. He's learning how to communicate because he wants the candy. Buy me this, buy me that, buy me this. The first words they learn is buy me. They have natural motivation to understand how the world around them works, so they can know how to walk and how to talk. They don't need you for this. They will do it anyway. They will learn how to walk and talk. I don't know if they will have good values, but at least they will learn how to walk and talk. This is natural, totally natural, until you go to school. And schools can cut it off a little bit. Okay? Now, this natural motivation, the natural learning of communication language, is something you have in a natural way. Kids ask more questions than adults. Why? How? All day long. And sometimes you stop them. They do research. When they play with Lego, what do they do? What do they do with the Legos or all these games? What? Pattern design. They build things. Give them boxes, give them some paper, they will build something. Have you seen kids? They always want to build something. They are playing in the game of pattern design. Naturally, they don't need you. You can help them, you can accelerate it, you can enable them, you can give them more opportunities, but they do it naturally. Just don't kill it. And then, he's getting to between 6 to 12. Very important age. He becomes an explorer. He wants to go to martial arts for 1 year, music 1 year, ballet 1 year. He wants to do it. They don't continue in most of the cases, but they want to explore their abilities, their possibilities. What do they do, children? Maybe I will study violin. Maybe I will play basketball. Don't you see it in 6 to 12 all the time? Yeah. They have new ideas. So with the new ideas, it means what?
The microphone's off.
Microphone is off? Why? The battery is off.
Yeah, I think so. Just speak loudly.
Loudly? I speak loudly. Can you hear me there? Yes. Hello? Maybe if you give it love, it will give you some back. Something. Can you take it off? Can you hear me on the back? Yes. See, I got a good voice. So, we become explorers. And the most important thing as explorers we need is how to learn 10 times faster. How to be able to study faster. Faster, because we don't want to spend too much time on the things we don't like. We want to have the black belt in 1 year, not in 20 years. No child can think 20 years ahead. No child can think 10 years ahead. Even though almost no child can think 5 years ahead. I want to study 2 weeks martial arts, black belt. Yep. 2 weeks piano, concert pianist. Yep. This is how it starts. This is the motivation, right? So what we need to give them is a tool to learn faster, that's all. Don't explain to them that things take time. They don't understand. It's abstract for them. Time is abstract for them. So where do we meet the children? Part of the time, they are home with you. You train them at home. You teach them different things. The right things, the wrong things, but you teach them. How did they learn how to argue? They see mom and dad arguing, that's all. They model you. They look at you, and they're trying to model what they see. But they have also school development. They have a teacher, they have a school, they go to school, they learn at school, right? So the impact of the house now is less because there is an impact of the school. And if there's no good communication between the parents and the school, the child does not know what to do because the teacher said A and the mother said B. Who am I going to listen to? My mother or my teacher or my friends in class? But then there's the after-school development. You go to martial arts lessons, music lessons, running around with the kids all afternoon, bringing them to different places to study different things. That's another environment. And what they are learning there is not what they're learning from the mother, which is not what they're learning from their teachers in school. The teacher will tell them, homework. The Russian piano teacher, practice. I want to play. May I have my Xbox? I'm addicted. And there's the physical development of the child. You know how many children, because they walk like this all day long, Okay? They're not stable when they walk. Have you seen a person who does judo? You know what judo means, right? These are the most stable people in the world. When they stand, the stance is like heavy. They try to push them. You'll never be able to. Oh. So, these are different environments. Stages wants to be in every environment. We are teaching the parents how to work with the kids. We are teaching the martial arts teachers to work with the kids. We're teaching the teachers in schools how to work with the kids. And we do everything physically. You cannot develop your brain by playing just a game with a finger. You have to move the hand in order to create new connections in the brain. You cannot do martial arts with a game and make new connections in the brain. You need to do martial arts in order to be able to implement this thinking in your brain. So people think, oh, I will play games and I will become smarter. No, you will not become smarter. It's just your imagination, that's it. And it's the wrong imagination. At that age, something else is happening. Emotional development, especially at the age of 11. It's the age when you realize that you are not a child, you become a man, and I become a woman. I can see the physical signs, different feelings, and if you don't know what to do with an 11-year-old child, you will lose him. And you will not understand how this beautiful little child, that until 11 years old was the love of your life, is using drugs at 16. The mistakes are being done at the age of 11. If you know exactly what you want, and you have great communication, you will take him this way. And if you're going to make the right mistakes, you will take him that way. So if he will use drugs, it's also your responsibility and the teacher's responsibility and the friends in the afternoon and the after-school activity. The intellectual development and the emotional development become one at around that age. At that age, they do a lot of pattern recognition. Does she like me? Does she like me? Pattern recognition in communication. They learn a lot about pattern recognition between 6 to 12. They try to transfer knowledge from one field to another to say, oh, this is like. They try, but they don't know how. All these elements between 6 to 12 is what we're trying to teach them. Pattern recognition on the highest level, knowledge transfer, the engineer's mind, understanding technology not as users, but as, because I say users are losers, right? You spend money to buy technology. We create technology to sell you. That's the difference, okay? Teach them engineering, understanding the technology transformation around the world, understanding economics, not how to buy something in the supermarket, and measure how much money you made. Economics. And to raise the polymath thinking between 6 to 12, sometimes it can be done by 5 years old, depends on the child. These are the most important years. If you do it right, they will be ready for 2040. And what you do with it is very simple. Their spiritual development will be very high by these elements. So if you go back to these elements and you look at them, in the end, it's very spiritual. I know it's technology and mathematics, economics, right? No, this is the spiritual development because his spirit will want to change the world. His spirit will want to do something meaningful in life, to have a vision and not only pipe dreams saying which car I'm going to buy. And these kids with the spiritual development, they will become the next entrepreneurs. They will become the expert on research, data analysts, In high tech, they will lead the high tech world, which is the world. Okay? They will understand economics on the highest level, and they will have the better jobs of the market. They will be paid by Amazon $1 million or $2 million per year. Do you know that low-level employees in Amazon are being hired by AI and being fired by AI? Did you know that? Only the smart guys are being hired by human. The low-level employees in Amazon are being hired by AI and being fired by AI. It just measures the level of productivity. You're not productive enough. Goodbye. Until machines will do your work. Now, this development leads to the last part of our conversation, and then I will show you something on the piano with one of you, and that's it. We need to build innovation and tech science center in every good city in order to become highly competitive with the market around you. You need to be competitive and highly innovative to create the best solutions for the world, for not having enough natural resources. In order to do this can lead for us to have a lot of investment of real estate in a city because people will move to the city. Many people move to the cities with a high-tech environment like Silicon Valley. That's why one bedroom is $10,000. The moment you have good real estate, you need to add something else into it. A cultural environment. Culture is the essence of society. The culture in Silicon Valley is awful. There's no culture in Silicon Valley. Nothing. That's why they decline. The world of culture, of the people who were the Polymath thinkers in the past, they were highly developed in the arts, in the music. And today, in Silicon Valley, they know nothing about arts and nothing about music. Technology, technology and money, and technology and money, and technology and money. They will decline. You need strong culture to build a city. People need to read books, to go to the movies, to listen to concerts, not only with earplugs. Culture is the essence of everything in a city. And culture brings tourism. And tourism means cash and more investment in a city. And the moment you do this, you have enough cash to invest in children education, for make the 1 billion ready, and for adult education, to move to the next new jobs of the market. This is the ecosystem. Where do you start this loop? I don't know. But if a city does not know how to build the city as an ecosystem, and even if you have the best schools in the world in your city, if the city cannot grab those people, those kids to stay in the city, they will go to Silicon Valley. That's it. That's what they will do. They will go to the highest paying jobs or to better cities than what they have. So good education, is it enough? Of course not. You're going to invest in education, and Los Angeles will benefit, or San Francisco will benefit. You will never benefit your education system if you're not going to build a city, okay, that enables them to prosper in their own city. That's the story. Now I want to play a game. Small game. I need a volunteer who never played the piano to play with me now.
I've never done that.
Sit.
I've always wanted to.
What's your name?
Natalie,
Natalie.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Ophers.
You are going to sit with me and teach.
I'm going to sit with you. I will not teach you anything.
Right side, left side.
Pattern recognition means understanding numbers. You have white keys and black keys, similarities and differences. The black keys are divided. The white keys are connected to each other. You know how the piano looks like, right? This is what we call the apartheid of the piano. You divide the black ones. The white ones are well connected. Now, there are two groups, a big group and a small group in the black ones. If you notice, there are 3 black ones and another 2 black ones. The white ones are all over. You take the big group, the small group. You see the small group of 2 black? And you number them with numbers. The first on the left will be called 1, and the second one will be called 2. Play 1 and 2 as a sequence. 1, 2, play. Thank you. What an amazing pianist you are. You play your first melody with 0 mistakes by using numbers. Of course you understand that when you use those numbers, you can change the order of the numbers in order to play another melody with the same notes. Play. 2, 1. So she played music with 1, 2, and then the second melody was 2, 1. No mistakes. Let's move to the bigger group. You have 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. If you start again from 1, what will happen? This is the same one, and now you have to change the order of the last 2. So you know how to play 2 melodies starting from 1. You play 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. There are no more melodies that can be played from 1. However, you can start at 2 and have 2 different melodies. 2 and 2 notes, and then change the order of the last 2. 2, 1, 3, and 2. Thank you. Start from 3, 2 melodies. Excellent. So you know how to play 6 melodies after 1 minute of a lesson with Mr. Breyer. No mistakes. So let's improvise together, both of us, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The only thing I will tell her sometimes is just listen to me when I accompany you. Listen to the music I create on the background to enable you how to play great melodies. But before we start, there are long notes and short notes. Long is that you touch it and you wait. Short, you touch and you leave. They're also loud and soft. You hit harder, it's loud. It's soft, it's softer. Okay. So within 3 notes, there are 216 possibilities. 3 notes, 216. Why? 6 melodies. Each one of them has loud, soft, 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 loud, soft, loud, soft. Like the loud, soft possibilities, it makes it 36. Each one of the 36 can be played with long, short. 6 possibilities of long, short. 260 melodies. Usually a child can learn 260 melodies in less than 7 minutes. So now, you're going to play with your right hand some music. Okay. Move to these ones here. It would sound much better. And you're just going to listen to me and enjoy. Hey, baby, that's good. Okay, second part, continue.
Oh.
Use all the 5 notes.
Go ahead.
She's musical, I'm telling you. Natural talent. Continue, it's beautiful. Continue. Don't look at me. I'm married.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
This is the lesson that's being called Anyone Can Play. And this can be transferred to another form. Greg, can you come over here, please? I need you. The 1 to 3 model of do, re, mi, or whatever it was in the notes can be transferred to martial arts, isn't it? Show them.
Yeah, so high, low, ah.
1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 3, 2. 2, 1, 3. 2, 3, 1. 3, 1, 2. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mission completed. Knowledge were transferred For one person who is a musical ear, who has a musical ear, natural musical ear, to a person who knows something about martial arts a little bit. Okay? And I can transfer it to cooking if you want, or to create nice sandwiches in different 216 compositions. I want to thank you for being here. Do you have any questions before I go home? No, this guy, he wants to talk. I know. Well, give me a second. He wants to tell you something really important. But before that, do you have any questions for me? Yes?
How do we look at these videos that you produce if we want to?
You talk to the guys who do the cells. I'm not that person. Yes?
So I'm a fourth grade teacher and also a mother of 5. So I have kids from 9 to 20. The 20 to 18 and 20, they're a little beyond, but the 9 through the 12 is what I'm concerned about. What's the one thing I should go home and do with them tomorrow? I'm thinking patterns.
One thing. You gave the answer. It's about pattern recognition and pattern design. When you walk into a room, notice the patterns. Some of them are more active, some of them are more passive. Human behavior? What does it mean with human behavior? When you do like this 6 times, what does it mean?
Means I'm acknowledging, I'm paying attention.
So, okay, but if I'm an autistic person, I don't know what it means.
That's exactly true.
Because Indian, they do like this.
We have to teach them that, right?
Yes,
As a former teacher of autism, actually.
yes. So, this is what you do. You teach them how to notice how things function, how they work, because they love it. Any other questions? Yes?
I saw in one of your videos you were talking about how kids are so scared of the SAT.
Yes.
I teach juniors in high school. They'll be taking the SAT on March 29th.
Yes.
And I want them to be able to do-re-mi that SAT.
Look, ACT is based on pattern recognition anyway. Okay? But in SAT, there's pattern recognition of, let's say, mathematical questions, or, like different elements that are not a part of other things. Like, there are no questions in SAT about martial arts, not about music. But the moment they do it in other fields, it's so easy for them to go through the SAT. You need to go to the other elements and show them this in things that they love. So let's say you have a guy in the school, and he loves basketball. So if you take some of the, the questions in the test, transfer it to the world he knows by using the word this is like. This is like. For him, it will be a deep understanding which make it easier for him to go through the test, because he will be able to imagine it in another field instead of figuring out this abstract in front of his head, in front of his face. Any more questions?
So I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
3 years old.
4 and 7.
4 and 7, okay.
My 7-year-old actually taught himself to read at 3. My 4-year-old doesn't want to do anything to do with reading.
Reading. Don't teach him reading. Teach him something that will enable him to read.
No, it's a she. But
She.
She wants to do everything else that her brother does towards playing with video games. She's very alert with everything. So it's trying to get her to be more connected towards the learning part of
But what does she like to do? What does she like to do?
playing on the iPad.
Playing what on the iPad?
Anything that doesn't have to do with reading. She doesn't want to do anything that's teaching her. She wants to, what they like to do is everything that does, like that challenge her into winning, but not reading.
Is it bad?
It's kind of funny because her brother tells her that she likes doing things that doesn't teach her. But then I'm like,
How do you know that it doesn't teach her?
that's what her brother tells me.
Maybe her brother is wrong. Look, I will tell you a story, and you will take something from that story. I was invited to do some kind of consulting into a school in a very bad neighborhood. All the parents are drug dealers. in that neighborhood. And the teacher's telling me, what should we do with the kids? Because it's hard to teach them. So I was saying to the teachers in the room, like the room that the teachers meet, right? The meeting room. Teach them the way they want to learn. Teach them something they want to learn. And then being able to take that knowledge and transfer it to something they need to learn. First of all, what they love. She said to me, yeah, this is easy to say, but not hard, or not easy to implement, she says to me. I said to her, okay, try me. Bring me a child. And she gets this little child, Moses, his name. Aggressive child, very aggressive. He comes to class and he looks at me, he's like, he's a strong, powerful guy, you know, fit. Looks at me. Yes, what do you want? Do you like school? No. What do you like? Soccer. Good, let's play. Really? Yeah, let's go outside and play. And we play soccer. And I play quite well soccer. Okay, I play everything quite well. Not excellent in anything, but quite well. And suddenly I show him something that I do. How did you do this? These are laws in physics. Laws in what? Physics, sir. What does it mean? Let me draw it to you on the floor. I drew it, you know. I found some space in it. That's really interesting. So I will be able to do it if I understand physics. Sure. Let's play again. We play again. How did you do it? Oh, that's pure mathematics. What do you mean mathematics? This is not mathematics. Mathematics is 1 plus 1. No. Let me explain to you. Then we play again. How did you do that? That's chemistry. What do you mean? I'll explain to you. How did you know how to do that? Well, that's based on understanding English. What do you mean? Well, you see, you like this player, okay? He's from Brazil. You want to be like him, but you don't understand when he explains. I understand English. You don't understand English. Therefore, you don't understand what he's saying. You learn English, you understand what people are saying, and they explain how to play better. He admired Ronaldinho. You know who's Ronaldinho? Right, never mind. So. Okay. I want to study physics. Why? Because I want to be a better soccer player. And I want to study the thing, how do you call it, chemistry? Yes. Why do you want it? Because I want to be a better soccer player. And I want to study all the things that you know, because I want to be a better player. We go back to class. The teacher is still waiting. It was like 15 minutes outside. He gets to the class. This kind of a guy, you don't know what to do with him, okay? Not even you have a black belt.
In 2 weeks.
Yes. And he said to the teachers, okay, I want to study, how do you call it? Physics. And I want to study, chemistry. And I want to study English. And I want to study. And they said to me, what did you do to him? Drugs or anything else? No, I said, he has one motivation in life. And then I asked him, why do they don't like you at school? So, it's very simple. I have a trick. I come to school. In the first 5 minutes of the class, I make a mess. I throw tables, chairs, I yell, I kick the kids, I kick the teacher, and they tell me, go out. When I go out, I practice soccer. And I don't do homework, because I need to practice soccer. And I practice 10 hours per day, because this is the only way to become great at something, right? Practicing. Look how smart the kid is. He knows what he wants, and he knows that he has to do it 10 hours per day. He just didn't know that by learning physics and mathematics, he shortened the time.
Yep.
He didn't know that. He went the hard way.
And expanded the application.
Yes, exactly. So now, I said to the teachers, the problem is that you don't know how to relate chemistry and physics and mathematics and English to the things he loved to do. So one of the teachers saying, yes, but he has to finish high school. He needs to have a diploma. I said, why? He wants to be Ronaldinho, for God's sake. He needs to practice 10 hours a day. If he would do homework and go to school, he would never become the best soccer player in the world. And she tells me, the teacher, yeah, but in case he will not become Ronaldinho, he needs to study in the school. I said, no. Because if he would study, he will never become Ronaldinho. You are totally wrong. Do you want to help him to become Ronaldinho or good at something? Learn soccer and connect everything you teach in school into the thing that the child loves to do. Develop, his passion to something. It doesn't matter if he will become Ronaldinho later or not. He might not. After learning physics and mathematics and chemistry, he might make other decisions in life. Don't enforce. Grab the attention of the child vision or mission or something that he really loves to do and connect everything to this love. So if you can teach him things in chemistry or physics to help him to play better on Xbox, do it. There are laws of physics in Xbox, trust me. If you see the games, the shooting games, a lot of physics is needed to play the game. But then suddenly he says, oh, I like physics. That's my inspirational story.
It's being wrangled now.
That's it.
Everybody, thank you so much, Ophers. That was really excellent. Thank you so much, Ofer, and thank you, Greg, as well. So the question really is, how can we prepare our children for a world that we can hardly imagine? 2040 is so far away, but since all of you have come here, we're going to give you those videos that our host, Greg Horton, had blazed through. I mean, he binge watched those 40 hours of videos. I'm just hoping that somebody in the audience can go through them faster than he did, so that they can beat the record. So we're going to give that to you absolutely free. You just need to go over to gamesofgenius.com/free trial. And what you're going to get is Ophers Toronto Parents Workshop free of charge, plus a 7-day free trial to Ophers Accelerated Games program. There's new games to play every day, and they start out very, very simple, but they build on themselves, and they become increasingly complex and sophisticated over time. Also, we had a lot of questions here. We don't have a lot more time. Ofer does live Q&A sessions. That's part of the Accelerated Games program. And we also have a private community on Facebook of super parents who are involved parents who want to do what's best for their kids. And all of that comes together with this free trial. There's a new program that we are also about to launch. This is called Games of Genius Platinum. And you could work directly with Ofer Breyer to develop the one skill that your children really need for the future. And that skill is innovation. And in order to begin your application, you should take out your phone right now. I see everybody's got their phones out for taking pictures. Text the word games to 33777 or go to gamesofgenius.com/platinum. There is an application process there, but what will happen is Ofer is going to actually tailor the program to your family. So he's going to personally work with you to ensure that your children will excel. The enrollment in Platinum is strictly limited to 50 families. There could be up to 3 children per family. It doesn't matter what age your children are. So go ahead and text GAMES to 33777, and you can start that application right now. I want to just thank Mr. Horton for hosting this event, and also thank you to Mr. Breyer for that great presentation. A warm round of applause for the both of them. Thank you very much. Little piano, maybe?
Yeah, I'll play for you a piece of piano, and you can walk home while listening to the music. possible. I'm here for the next 4 days.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You see?
That wasn't
You got
bad
a
at
nice
all. That was
lesson.
great. Yeah.
But you are musical, by the way. You grabbed it. You grabbed it. You understood the
I'm
rhythm.
very diverse up here. I study a lot of, don't ask, quantum mechanics,
But I'm asking.
neurological pathways, and the different frequencies, how to feel different frequencies within the different parts of the brain, and understand what things as impact points feel.
Yes.
You know, prepping for an AI world without certification that I can walk in, much like your story. So I'm hoping it adapts a little bit of what it heard.
But you can do with it whatever you want.
I know, it's really fun. It's kind of, it is fun until you see patterns and behaviors in other people, though, and you go, oh.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Once you see it, you can't kind of unsee it,
Yes.
and then it's like,
Yes.
okay, but I can project. Good, right? Put the good energy out there and
Yes.
what have you. But yeah, so
Beer or a cocktail?
Cocktail. That would be nice.
What would you like?
This is vodka. You want vodka?
No, no vodka. No. What does he have?
Everything. You name it. He has it.
you like amaretto? That's a good one. Sweet one. Tasty
No,
one.
no, no. I want
No?
just a cocktail. Because I'm on jet lag, I need something very light. I cannot have a lot of alcohol when I'm on a jet lag. Because then I don't know what I'm talking.
Wine? What do you want?
I would take some wine,
Red or white?
red. Yes, wine. Very little, not much.
So thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Can I give you my business card?
Yes.